What is the difference between PPI input and output prices? Imagine watching the price tags change from the moment raw materials leave the supplier to when a finished product reaches the store shelf. That's the journey of prices in the economy. Today, we're breaking down what PPI input and output prices really mean and how they tell us about inflation. The Producer Price Index, or PPI, measures how prices change from the perspective of producers. It looks at the costs and earnings at different stages of making goods and services. The first stage is input prices. These are the costs producers pay for raw materials, parts, or services they buy to make their products. Think of steel for a car manufacturer or flour for a bakery. These prices are recorded at what's called purchaser's prices, which is what the producer actually pays. When input prices go up, it can signal that costs are rising across the supply chain, which might push prices higher later on. Next, we have output prices. These are the prices producers get when they sell their finished goods or services. These are often called factory gate prices because they're measured at the point where goods leave the factory. These prices exclude taxes and transportation costs beyond the factory, giving a clear picture of what the producer earns from their sales. When output prices increase, it shows that the final goods are becoming more expensive in the market, which can lead to higher prices for consumers. The difference between input and output prices is like the difference between the cost of ingredients and the price of the finished dish. Input prices are an early warning sign of inflation because they show what producers are paying. If input prices rise sharply, it might mean that in the future, finished goods will cost more. But whether those higher costs are passed on to consumers depends on factors like market competition and demand. In simple terms, input prices reflected what it costs to make products, while output prices show what consumers pay for those products. Both are important for understanding how inflation moves through the economy. When input prices go up, it can lead to higher output prices later. Watching both helps policymakers decide when to step in to keep inflation in check. So, in summary, input prices measure what producers pay for their raw materials and services, acting as a potential early signal of rising costs. Output prices show what producers charge when selling finished goods, revealing the actual inflation experienced by the market. Both are key pieces of the puzzle in understanding how prices change across the supply chain and in the economy as a whole.